At the time of last session, we have started the theory related to the turbulent modeling. I have discussed this characteristics of the turbulent modeling or turbulent flow. Okay. Next, I have explained the concept of energy cascading. That means how uh, energy is coming from larger eddies to the smaller eddies, and from smaller eddies to again smaller eddies, and smallest eddies. That turbulent kinetic energy is converted to the internal energy by viscous dissipation. Okay, that we have discussed. The next, I have explained this concept, that is why large eddy cannot be mopped up due to viscous dissipation. Why do we have to go smallest eddy scale? Okay. Now here these are the reasons for that why we have to go for smallest eddy scale. Okay. After that, we have started this one. That is what are the different length scale, time scale, and velocity scale of small and larger eddies. For the explanation of this, we are going to apply the dimensional analysis concept. Okay. Now, before going to start this dimensional analysis concept, you know the equation for the kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is here. It is kinetic energy equal to 1 half m into u square. If we calculate the kinetic energy or rate of extraction of turbulent kinetic energy per unit mass, then it will be like this. That is, uh, pi is I am going to use as a turbulent kinetic energy, that is half of mu square. It is the kinetic energy per unit mass. After that, if you want to write the equation for kinetic energy per unit mass per unit time, then you can write this one, that is pi is equal to half of u square by time. U square by time. Okay. Now this is kinetic energy per unit mass per unit time. Now now uh, time scale in terms of the velocity and length scale, which is called as a turnover time scale, and that time scale, it is depending on characteristic to the large eddy turnover. Okay. Now so that this large eddy uh, it is dynamic structure of large eddies, and and we can write time is equal to L by U. How we can write this L by U? Here it is, uh, that is, it is a time scale. Time scale we can write as a uh, length per unit. That is, it is what we can say, it is dynamically evolving situation. That is, it is, and then again you have large eddy appearing and so on. Okay. Now when we put this term, that is time is equal to, that is u is equal to length upon time, and time is equal to length upon velocity. Okay. Now this is in terms of dimensional analysis. Now when we put this in this equation, you will get, that is pi is equal to u pi is equal to u cube by L. Okay. That is, here time is replaced by L by u. Now this is the rate of extraction of turbulent kinetic energy per unit mass for from mean flow, and it is of the order of u cube by L. It is, here it is not equal to, it is of the order of, that is kinetic energy is of the order of u cube by L. Now rate of dissipation, uh, of turbulent kinetic energy, we can write in terms of the epsilon, and that epsilon is equal to gamma it is a kinetic viscosity, or sorry, kinematic viscosity, into Eij. What is Eij? I will tell you. Eij is a rate of deformation, or it is known as a deformation tensor, and it is associated with the smaller Ed. Now, it is same to the velocity gradient. It is same to the velocity gradient. Now, thus, smallest Ed is dissipating the entire turbulent kinetic energy that has been extracted by large Eds to viscous dissipation. So, this rate of deformation is given by velocity gradient. Rate of dissipation, it is given by velocity gradient. Now, so here it is sorry, it is rate of deformation, it is given by velocity gradient, and that velocity gradient is equal to epsilon into gamma into v square by here n square or eta square. Now this is smallest Ed length scale, smallest Ed length scale. And if you compare this equation with your strain energy equation, it is stress square, half of stress square into modulus of velocity. Same thing you are getting here. Here this kinetic energy, it is gamma into v square divided by n square. It is a length or smallest Ed length scale. Now if we consider the pi as a kinetic energy, turbulent kinetic energy per unit mass per unit time, then we can write pi is equal to epsilon, because both are representing the kinetic energy or dissipated rate of dissipation of the turbulent kinetic energy. So we are getting this equation number 3. Okay. Now here next one, as pi is of the order of epsilon. Now if you see this equation, here you have pi, it is rate of extraction of turbulent kinetic energy, and it is of the order of epsilon. Okay. Now as pi is of the order of epsilon, and other constant is Reynolds number, and which is based on the smallest Ed length scale, and is of the order 1. Already I have told you in yesterday's lecture, that is Reynolds number for smallest Eds is of the order of 1, because it is just the balance of inertia force and viscous force. Okay, so I can take for smallest Ed, Reynolds number is equal to 1, and that we can write in terms of the velocity into length divided by kinematic viscosity. Here velocity, this is a length scale for smallest Ed, and this one is kinematic viscosity. Now when we go for the equation number 2, that is where it is equation number 2, here it is equation number 2, that is epsilon is of the order of gamma into v square by eta square. Now here I will write that equation, that is here epsilon is equal to, it is gamma into v square. Okay, here I have written, sorry, not written, gamma into v square by eta square. Okay, now from this we can write this equation, that is eta square is equal to gamma into v square by epsilon. Okay, gamma into v square by epsilon. Now now from this equation, putting value of phi from equation number 4 in this equation. Now in this equation what will get, v is equal to gamma by eta. Okay, gamma by eta. Now when we put in this equation, v is like this, that is n square. Now gamma is there. Now v we have to replace by gamma, and it is a square by epsilon square. Sorry, it is eta square. Okay. Now here it is eta square, and epsilon is there. Okay. So you will get eta square is equal to gamma cube, that is this gamma into this gamma square, it becomes gamma cube divided by eta square epsilon. Now here we can write this n, we can take, or n eta we can take on this side, it becomes eta raised to 4 divided by gamma cube divided by epsilon. Okay, or this is written in this form, that is a length scale for smallest ed. It is of the order of kinematic viscosity cube divided by epsilon, that is a turbulent kinetic energy dissipation, raised to 1 by 4. So smallest ed length scale does not depend directly on the feature of the large EDs. That means it is not a function of large EDs, but it depends on the rate of dissipation of the kinetic energy, turbulent kinetic energy. This is your rate of dissipation of the turbulent kinetic energy and kinematic viscosity. And this length scale is known as the Kolmogorov length scale. Okay, Kolmogorov length scale. You have to remember this. This is your smallest TD length scale, and this is written in terms of kinematic viscosity cube divided by a rate of dissipation of the turbulent kinetic energy raised to 1 by 4, and that is known as Kolmogorov length scale. Kolmogorov length scale. After that, now for relating the Kolmogorov length scale to uh, length scale to the system scale, that is system length scale, that means bigger ED length scale. If you have this length scale, the corresponding velocity that you can obtain by using any of these relationship, that is we can use any relation from equation 2 to 4. Okay, that is v using Reynolds number or equation number 4. Okay, that is known as Kolmogorov velocity scale. Okay, now velocity which we are going to obtain from the Reynolds number or from the uh, equation number 4, which is your what it is, this equation. Okay, now when we use this equation for finding the velocity scale, that is known as a Kolmogorov velocity scale. Okay, so from these equations, how I can write here, already we have derived this one, that is uh, rate of turbulent kinetic energy dissipation is of the order of epsilon, and from equation 1 and 2 we can write u cube divided by L equal to the gamma into v square by eta square. This is your system length scale, and this is your smallest ed length scale. Okay, now here we have to replace by Reynolds number. Now your Reynolds number is 1 equal to, you see here you have v eta by gamma. Now so it becomes gamma by eta. So here you will get gamma by eta square, and then one more eta square is there, and this gamma is there. Okay, so what you will get here, u cube by L is equal to gamma cube by eta raised to 4. Now when we simplify this, it becomes eta raised to 4 gamma cube divided by u cube into L. Okay, now here here now here what we will do, here Reynolds number is equal to the ul upon gamma. So here ul upon gamma, what I will do, I will divide by L cube and multiply by L cube. Okay, so or I will what I will do, I will divide by L cube both on both sides, so it becomes n raised to 4 or eta raised to 4 divided by L cube equal to gamma cube into L by u cube L L cube. Okay, now here ul by gamma, it is your Reynolds number. So this term it is 1 upon Reynolds number. Here this L I can take on this side, it becomes eta raised to 4 L raised to 4, and on this side you will get Reynolds number raised to minus 3, sorry, not minus 3, plus 3 here. When we take over, it becomes minus 3. So you are getting this equation. Now Now from that you will get the length scale ratio. What is length scale ratio? Here eta by L. Here this is the smallest ED length and this is your system length scale. Okay, so you will get this equal to the Reynolds number is to minus 3 by 4. Reynolds number equal to minus 3 by 4. Now for getting the meaning of wide range of length scales, we are taking Reynolds number in the form of 10 raised to minus 4. Sorry, 10 raised to 4, not minus 4, 10 raised to 4. And so if we take 10 raised to 4 Reynolds number, what you will get here? You will get n by L equal to 10 raised to 4 raised to minus 3 by 4. So you will get eta equal to the 10 raised to minus 4. This 4 and this 4, this 4 and this 4 will be cancelled. Okay, and it becomes 10 raised to minus 3. That is length scale ratio becomes 10 raised to minus 3. Okay, so from this what we can conclude, here you have smallest length scale, this equal to the 10 raised to minus 3 into system length scale. Okay, into system length scale. Okay, now here what I have proved, that is the smallest ED scale and largest ED scale, these two length scales are differ by 10 raised to minus 3, which is quite larger and greater. Again, when we increase the Reynolds number, this length will differ and in larger and larger manner. Okay, that means if your Reynolds number is 10 raised to greater than 10 raised to 4, again this ratio that will be increased. Okay, and the relation between small ED length scale and large ED scale length scale, that will be changed. Okay, now these are the concepts of length scales and time scales. Okay, now how we can represent the statistically turbulent flow. Now already I have told you, in turbulent flow we have high local fluctuations, and these fluctuations may be time dependent, these fluctuations may be space dependent, and these space dependent fluctuations, time dependent fluctuations are creating the high level fluctuations of the transport quantity in a turbulent flow. Again, these fluctuations are sensitive to the initial conditions. So the treatment of the turbulent flow is very difficult. So we are using the statistical analysis for handling the turbulent problems. Now, how we can use the statistical representation of the turbulent flow? For that purpose, consider the velocity pattern as shown in figure. That is in this figure. You see this velocity pattern here, this one. Now, this red line is mean behavior. Okay, and whatever the fluctuations with respect to that mean behavior. Okay, now while writing this instantaneous velocity, we have to write the mean plus fluctuation. Okay, that means you see here, this line is indicating the mean velocity, and this zigzag like this, these are the fluctuations, in the velocity. Now if you want to write the velocity at any instance, then that instantaneous velocity, it is a mean plus fluctuation. Okay, so you will get this u is equal to u bar plus u dash. Here also I have written by this red line. Here these are the fluctuations. These fluctuations for each location or at each time, that fluctuations are different. So we are going to add that fluctuations in mean velocity for calculating the what we can say, for calculating instantaneous velocity. Okay. Now, already I have told you turbulent flow is three-dimensional and unsteady flow. But by using statistical approach, we can average steady state behavior of that turbulent flow. Now, already I have shown here by this red line and variation of the instantaneous velocity at given location. So you can see that it is actually unsteady, but when we take the mean statistically mean, then it becomes steady state, and that type of turbulence is known as a stationary turbulence. Okay. Now, next concept which we need is time average. Okay, space average. Okay. Now, here in turbulent flow fluctuation, it is of the property of space and time. And for calculating the actual instantaneous velocity, there are different types of average methods are used. Okay. Now, one of that is called as a time average, and one is space average, and one is ensemble average. What are that different things? I will tell you. According to the decomposition, you know this velocity, that is u is equal to u bar plus u dash. This is your mean velocity, this is your fluctuating velocity. Okay. Now, for writing the time average for a property as a function of time, and the time average at a given location. Okay. For a property as a function of time, and then time average at a given location, then time average, suppose a velocity u versus time. The time average is given by u mean, it is equal to limit t tends to infinity 1 upon t 0 to t u dt. Okay. Now in this equation, when we consider the turbulent fluctuation time scale, there are very small time scale over which turbulent quantity fluctuates, and on other side of that there is a system time scale. It is with respect to system which is much larger than the turbulent time. Okay. It results in some type of periodicity. Okay. When we consider that t tends to infinity, that means we can say that is time scale which is much larger than the turbulent fluctuation time scale, but it must also be much smaller than the system time scale. Okay. If you literally interpret as a t tends to infinity without considering what physics it is talking about, okay, then you take the total time as the starting time to the end time and average over that time. Okay. Now in this situation, it is not the total large time scale, it is a time scale which is definitely much larger than the individual fluctuation scale, but much smaller than the overall system characteristic time scale, that we can call it as a t. Okay. Now here this is a time average. Now next one, similar to that, we can use space average. In space average, at fixed time, average is taken over a space. Thus we can write that is u bar is equal to limit that space variable omega that is tending to infinity, and 1 upon that space variable and its integration over the space. Okay. Now after that, there is one more method of averaging, that is a ensemble average. Now here in ensemble average, what we are doing, we are conducting large number of repeated experiments, and we are finding the statistical average of the repeated experiments. Okay. Then average is called as a ensemble average. So basically it is a stochastic type of experiment. So similar boundary conditions, similar arrangement, but many different experiments have been conducted, and that from that we are going to calculate the average or mean, and that mean is given in this equation, that is u bar equal to the limit n tends to infinity. N is here number of experiments and summation of ui. Now in this way we can calculate the average or mean of the velocity. Okay, now next concept which we need to understand before starting the turbulent flow, that is a variance, RMS and turbulent kinetic energy. Okay, already you have studied these concepts in your or statistics concepts. Okay, now again I will relate that concepts to the turbulent flow. Okay, now the dissipation used to indicate the spread of fluctuations about the mean value is called as a variance. I have written here definition, that is dissipation used to indicate the spread of fluctuations about the mean value is called a variance. Okay, now already I have shown you that is instantaneous equal to the mean plus fluctuation. Now when I take the mean on left side, I will get u is equal to, sorry, u minus u bar equal to the fluctuation. Now I will take the square of both sides, and when we take the square of both sides you will get the uh, square of variance. Now here, after that I have written one equation, that is the time average of the fluctuation square is variance, that is variance is u bar square, u bar dash square, and that I have written in terms of the time average with delta t as a time scale. Okay, now that variance I am going to assume that as a variance. Okay, now next one is a root mean square or RMS. RMS is the here it is square root of that variance. Okay, now u dash bar square, it is equal to the square of this right side. Okay, now when we take uh, variance, and when we consider three directional variance, and if we take the square and addition of that, it will give the turbulent kinetic energy per unit mass, because it is half of u dash square plus v dash square plus w dash square. Okay, now these are the concepts of variance, RMS and turbulent kinetic energy. Okay, and it is turbulent kinetic energy per unit mass. Now there are some tensor notations, which we need to understand for um, getting the turbulent flow equation. Okay, now what are the tensor notations? Here I have written delta ij. Now before going to that, I will explain what is meaning of this one. Now if we write the subscript, suppose you have velocity, and if we write ui and ui. Now what is this notation? It is meaning of this is u11 plus, sorry, u1 plus u2 plus u3. Okay, now here what we are using, or what is the meaning of these subscripts are: one is for x, two is for y, and 3 is for z. Now meaning of this, it is ux, or it is a ux square we can say, or it is a velocity in x direction, this is velocity in y direction, and it's a product velocity in z direction. Okay, now next one, if we write ui and uj, now this total quantity, it is u1 u1 next u1 u2 next u1 u3. Okay, means it is ux. Okay, that is ux uy ux, uz. Second term, it is u2, u1, u2, 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 u3. Then it is u3, u1, u3, u2, u3, u3. Now this is your, what we can say, this is your notation for subscript or meanings of the subscripts. Now delta ij, it is known as Kronecker delta. Now what is meaning of this? Now here delta ij equal to 1 for all I equal to j, and it is equal to 0 for all I not equal to j, or it is your, what we can say, this is your identity matrix. It is a short notation for identity matrix. Now you can see here, when we use this one, you will get this as a tensor, or it is a matrix. Okay, tensor or it is a matrix. Okay, now this tensor or these notations we are using for investigation of the turbulent flow. That's why I have taken in this slide. Okay, yes, any doubt here? If you have doubt, you can ask me. Nitesh, have you got this meaning of ij, or what we can say, that is a tensor notation, meaning of tensor
Yes, sir.
notation? Okay.
Yes.
Now there are some rules in averaging. What are that rules? I will tell you. See here, average of average is average itself. That means u bar of u bar, it is equal to the u bar. Okay, that is average of average, it is average itself. Average of fluctuations is 0. Average of fluctuations is 0. That means there is a fluctuation, and when we take the average of fluctuation, that is equal to 0. Okay, now average on the product of two function is not equal to 0. Okay, average on product of two fluctuations is not equal to 0. This is 0, but this is not equal to 0, and these concepts you have studied in mathematics also. Okay, u dash, v dash, these are the average of two quantities. Okay, and the product of that is not equal to 0, but average of product on one average quantity and one fluctuating quantity is equal to 0. Okay, now this is the fourth rule. Next rule is average on the product of one average quantity and one instantaneous quantity is product of two average quantities. Okay, means one average quantity and one instantaneous quantity, it is a product of, this is equal to 0. That is u v bar, that is equal to u bar v bar. Okay, average on special derivative, average on special derivative is same as a special derivative on average. That means average of derivative, it is derivative average. Okay, average of integration is same to the integration average. You see this one. Now here addition of two averages, or average of addition, it is equal to the average of two additions. Okay, and you see this product here, this is fg average equal to fg average plus f dash g dash average. Okay, now you have to remember these rules. Now with these rules we will go to the different equations, or with these concepts we will go for the different equations of the turbulent flow. What are these equations? Now how continuity equation is going to modify when we consider the turbulent flow. Now in case of continuity equation, you know this continuity equation. Here I have taken the continuity equation for steady state three-dimensional flow. Okay, now according to continuity equation, you have dui by dxi. Meaning of this is like this. You see here I index means it has value 1 to 3. It has value 1 2 3. Okay, that is, if we consider ui, it is equal to the u displacement, sorry, velocity in x direction, y direction, and z direction. And xi means it is x, y, z. For I is equal to 1, you have x, I is equal to 2, you have y, and I is equal to 3, you have z. That is, this single equation is representing the three-dimensional equation. Okay, three-dimensional equation. Now, 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 what I am going to do here, you have in case of laminar flow, u is single quantity, that is the same quantity. But in case of turbulent flow, u is your mean velocity plus fluctuation, that is u dash, mean plus fluctuation. Now when I put this in this equation, now how this equation becomes, dui by dxi is equal to 0. So here dou ui bar plus u dash I, this is your fluctuation, sorry, this is your mean, and this one is your fluctuation, and dou xi equal to 0. Now if we take this derivative inside this one, continuity equation for mean velocity, that is dui by dxi, this is equal to 0. It is the continuity equation based on the mean velocity, and continuity equation based on the fluctuation, it is like this. Okay, so your equation is modified, continuity equation is modified in this form. Okay, now actually continuity equation in case of turbulent flow, that has or it is not playing big role, but Navier-Stokes equation is playing very big role, and because of that Navier-Stokes equation, you have to use the turbulent models in CFD simulation. Now we'll go for the Navier-Stokes equation. And Navier-Stokes equation, when we write for the turbulent flow, it is known as the Reynolds average Navier-Stokes equation. Why it is Reynolds average Navier-Stokes equation, or how it is Reynolds average Navier-Stokes equation, that we will discuss. Okay. Now if we write the Navier-Stokes equation, how we can write the Navier-Stokes equation, you have already studied it. Now I will write here full equation, that is dou rho u by dou t plus dou rho u by dou x plus dou rho u v by dou y plus dou rho u w by dou z. Now this is the x component of the Navier-Stokes equation. Now equal to minus dou p by dou x plus mu into dou 2u by dou x square plus dou 2u by dou y square plus dou 2u by dou z square plus your Stokes relation, that is mu by 3 into some terms in the bracket plus body force term, that is rho fx. Now this is your Navier-Stokes equation, or it is a full form of the Navier-Stokes equation. It is for unsteady with body force. Okay. Now when I write the Navier-Stokes equation for constant density, here this is for compressible flow. Now if I write for incompressible flow, this rho will be cancelled from all the terms. Okay. Rho will be cancelled, or rho will be taken common from all the terms, and we can divide by rho on this side. It is 1 upon rho. Okay. Now next one, if we take the zero body force, this term is also vanished. Okay. Now next one, for constant density and zero body force, we can write this equation here, 1 upon rho into minus dou p by dou x. Here you are getting this term. Okay. Now next one, this mu by 3, mu by 3. How we can get that mu by 3? I will tell you. Here what I have written, I have written this equation in terms of the what we can say, in terms of the ijk or ij subscripts. What is meaning of this? Here this equation I have written for only x direction, and when I put here I means it is 1, 2 and 3. 1, 2, 3 means for x direction, y direction and z direction. So this is a common equation for all three directions. All three directions. Now in here in this equation is a momentum equation in the index form, and as per the tensor notation, here you have first term I, and that I term means it has only one term. It has only one term. Second term, you see this is first term. First term, it has only one subscript, that is I, means it is either it is ux, uy or uz, or u1, u2, u3 or uv or w. Okay. Now in second term, you can see here there is a uj and dou ui by dou xj. In this, I index appears only once. I index is appearing only once, so it is a single term, and j index appears more than once, that is a twice. So for every quantity of j, it will be one term because it represents the index. So it is a summation of all these terms. Okay. Thus in second term, for every value of I, and within I, for every value of j, we will get the single term. Okay, means we will get multiple terms from that. Okay. Now next one, on right hand side, if we go for this dou p by dou xi, here also you have single term because there is only one term. Now second term, it is dou xj, and mu by rho is there, and mu by rho we can write as a kinematic viscosity also, and it contains I on numerator, means it is one term on the numerator, and in denominator there are j terms, and there are two terms. So it is addition with j varies from 1 to 3. Okay. Thus in tensor notation, resultant momentum equation will get in three directions. So what you will get here, I will tell you. I will clean and I will tell you how we can get this in three directions. You see here, first is if we put I is equal to 1, I is equal to 1. Now here your velocity is in x direction. What is velocity in x direction? U. It is dou u by dou t plus uj, and j will start from 1. So you will get u dou u, I means only u, dou x. Now here uj, and here for I is equal to 1, your u is changing from 1 to 3. Okay. So it becomes u dou u by dx, v dou u by dou y, because here you have xj. Okay. Plus w, because of this uj, w dou u by dou z. Have you got this? Now this equal to minus 1 upon rho dou p by dou x. Here you have xi, so it is only one term, plus dou by dou x dou by dou x, or we can take inside this. You can see here how we can write here mu by rho inside this. When I take this inside this, here dou ui dou xj means it is first is dou 2u by dou x square plus dou 2u by dou y square, because j is now 2. Now next is dou 2u by dou z square. Okay, same thing when I becomes 2, you will get the equation in y direction. Okay, and when we go for I is equal to 3, you will get equation in z direction. Okay, have you got this, how this equation becomes uh, how this equation becomes equation for momentum in 3 directions? Yes or no? Hello, have you got it? How this equation is for 3 directional equation?
Yes, sir.
Okay. now now in turbulent flow, you have ui is equal to instantaneous velocity plus fluctuating term, and for pressure also instantaneous pressure plus fluctuating pressure. So in each term I am going to replace u by ui plus u dash I. Here I am going to replace by ui plus u dash I, and this uj I am taking inside the derivative. Okay, now here I think there is no any issue for these two terms. These two terms are simple, just we have replaced by this one. Okay, next one. Now here on left side, sorry, on right side also, you have 1 upon rho dou p bar plus p dash upon dou xi plus dou xj mu by rho. Again here it is ui plus ui dash. Okay, now this after that is, this is the Navier-Stokes equation, that is instantaneous Navier-Stokes equation. Instantaneous Navier-Stokes equation, because we have added mean term with fluctuation term, mean term with the fluctuation term. Okay, now after that we are taking the average. We are taking the average. Now what we are going to do, we are going to take the average of whole equation. Now see here, I am going to take average of this term here, taking average of entire equation, this average, this average, this average, and this average. Now how we will get this average terms, I will tell you. Now first term it is dou u bar plus u fluctuation and its average. Now if we take the first term, you see here, if I take the first term, what will get? Dou u bar its average by dou t plus dou u dash and its average. Okay, are you getting this? Now this is your first term, again it is dou t. Now second term it is a product of u bar and uj, and here ui bar uj bar u I bar, then uj u I dash into uj bar, next u dash I u dash j. Okay, I will tell you one by one term. Now see here, when we take the average, you will get this term. I think there is no any issue in this term. Now this term also you can get. Now this term here ui uj. Now when we take this product, you will get dou u bar u j bar and its average. Next, product of this term and this term, you will get this term. Next, ui and uj bar, here this term and this term. you will get this term. Next one, here product of last this term and this term, you will get this term. Okay. Next one, next, this is as it is double average of p, and it is 1 upon rho, and it is average of fluctuation plus this dou xj mu by rho, and it is average of this term plus average of this term. Okay. Is there any problem in equation number 2? I have taken just average of all the terms. Okay. Now you recall the rules which we have discussed. Now according to rules, now this term, that is this term, it is average of average. It is your just du bar by dt, and it is I subscript. Okay. Now next one, this is average of fluctuation. Average of fluctuation is 0. Now here this term is 0, and this term is also 0, because both are average of fluctuations. Okay. Now one more term is there, where it is this term. Sorry, this is not this one. It is average of fluctuations. These three terms are 0. Okay. And here this term, it is dou u I bar uj bar, it is average of average. So this term will be like this. It is dou u bar into ui bar uj bar. Okay. Ui bar uj bar. Now next one, this is also 0. Why? Because when we take the first term separately, it becomes ui average, and second term it becomes uj dash average. Now uj dash average is 0, so this term is 0. Now this term is also 0. Okay. Next one, now this is average, this one is average, this is 0, this is 0. This will not be 0, because it is product of fluctuations and then average. Okay. So this is not 0 according to our rule. Now this is just the average of p. Now this one, this is just average of u. Okay. Or ui. So after applying the rules of average, we can get this equation as dou u bar by dou t plus next term is 0. Next is dou ui bar u j bar by dou xj plus dou ui dash uj dash, and average of this dou xj plus equal to minus 1 upon rho dou p bar by dou xi, and last term is plus dou by dou xj mu by rho dou u bar by dou xj. Have you got this? If you have doubt, you can ask me. Yes. Any doubt? Nitish, are you getting this? Nitish?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other? Yes, you can ask me. Someone want to ask the question? Okay. Next one. Next, after putting these rules of, or after applying these rules of average, what you will get? You will get, here I have written all the things. These terms are 0. You will get this equation, and this is known as a Reynolds average Navier-Stokes equation. It is known as Reynolds average Navier-Stokes equation, or it is the equation for turbulent flow. Turbulent flow. Now this equation is in terms of the mean flow. See here, every term is in terms of the mean flow except last term. Except last term. Now, if we consider the last term, which is coming as an extra term and which is derived from the fluctuation. Okay. Now, how we can handle this term, that we will discuss, and now we will get why we need the turbulent models while doing the CFD simulation. Now here, there are certain comments which I have written on a Navier-Stokes equation, and in this you will get a requirement of turbulent models. Okay. Now, if we consider the first term and second term, these two terms are same as per their format, or these two terms are same to that of the terms which we have used in the Navier-Stokes equation. Only difference is here there is a mean flow property. Okay. The flow variables in original equation are instantaneous, and in Ray's equation means Reynolds-Navier-Stokes equation, these are average terms. Okay, so it is called as a average Navier-Stokes equation. Average Navier-Stokes equation. Here we are taking mean uh, terms or mean of the this flow variables, mean of the flow variables or average of the flow variables. So this equation is in terms of the average terms. So it is called as a average Reynolds, average Navier-Stokes equation or Reynolds average Navier-Stokes equation. Okay. Now in above equation, here this equation is representing the three momentum equations depending upon the value of I. When I is equal to 1, you will get the equation in x direction, that is Ray's equation in x direction. When we have I is equal to 2 and 3, you will get the momentum equation, or it is a Reynolds average Navier-Stokes equation in y and z direction. Okay. Now if we go to the right side, now on right side, first two terms, if we observe the first two terms, these are also average derivative of average pressure, and second term is diffusion term, and these two terms are also same to the your regular Navier-Stokes equation as per their format. Okay. Now only thing is that terms are in mean terms, or that terms are as a average terms. Now important thing I am going to tell you, that is after averaging the Navier-Stokes equation, we will get one extra term, that is the last term in the Ray's equation, that is derivative of product of fluctuations and its average. Okay, this term is a fluctuation average, and this fluctuation average term, it is known as a Reynolds stress, or it is known as a turbulent stress. Why it is known as turbulent stress or Reynolds stress, that I will tell you. Now what I will do, I will do some manipulation in this equation. And after manipulation, you see this first term is as it is. Now second term is also as it is. Now on right side, first term is as it is, and if we go to this equation, you see here I have taken derivative, this last two terms I have written like this, that is derivative of dou xj in bracket mu by rho dou ui bar dou xj minus ui, uj, dash, dash, and average. Okay, that manipulation I am going to do in this Reynolds transport equation. Now, when we go for ui and uj, what we will get here? Though that is uh, last term only. Last term only. Now, when we write the expanded form of that last term, you see here it is derivative of derivative with respect to xj. Xj means j is varying for I is equal to 1, j is varying from 1 to 3, 1 to 3. So it is representing the addition of three terms. So here you can see here this is this term, that is dou by dou xj, and of row it is out, row will be cancelled, this row and this row will be cancelled, it becomes ui uj. Now I will start with I is equal to 1. For I is equal to 1, j varies from 1 to 3. So, or it is I is equal to 1 means it is x, and j varies from x, y, and z. So you will get this equation. You can see here u dash square, it is a velocity in x direction with respect to x. Here velocity in x direction, why it is, that is it is product of two terms, that is u dash and u dash. Next it is u dash and v, because for I is equal to 1, j is 1 to 3, and when j becomes 2 it is v, and next is u dash w. So you will get this term, and for I is equal to 2 you will get this term, and for I is equal to 3 you will get this term. Have you got this? Any question? Yes or no? Hello?
Sir, can you repeat?
Okay, you can see here already I have told you here if you have two subscripts, means it is addition, means here you have I and j. What is meaning of u I u j? Already I have told you u j, its meaning is u1 u2 plus, sorry, u1 plus u1 u2 plus u1 u3. Okay, this is for I is equal to 1. Your j varies from 1 to 3. Okay, next when I is equal to 2 it becomes u2 u1 plus u2 u2 plus u2 u3. And for third equation you have I is equal to 3, it is u1 u3 u1 plus u3 u2 plus u3 u3. Okay, have you got it? So this derivative of dou u I uj with respect to dou xj, j means it is 1 to 3, it is representing the three equations, with three terms in each equation. I will show you this concept where I have covered that concept. Here ui I and ui uj, that is u11 u22 u33, ui uj is u11 u12 u1 u3 u2 u1 u2 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 u3 u3 u1 u3 u2 u3 u3. Okay, are you getting this? Yes, Nitesh, have you got it?
Yeah.
You see again, you see this one. Okay, here it is not. Here what I have done, I have written these terms in terms of their subscript, that is I have written the expanded form of that term. expanded form of that term by using the subscript variables. Here I is equal to 1 2 3, but for I is equal to 1 you have j is equal to 1 2 3. I is equal to 2 you have j is equal to 1 2 3. It is same to the loops in what we can say programming languages 1 2 3. Okay, and 1 is your x direction, 2 is your y direction, and 3 is your z direction. Okay, yes, any doubt here? Any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay, now next one. Here I have already told you these are the Reynolds trace terms. Reynolds trace terms. So this term I can write as a trace term, that is sigma x dash tau xy tau xz tau xy sigma y tau yz tau xz. Why I am writing this one? It is your stress term, and this is a stress tensor which is available in what we can say solid mechanics. Okay, now here you have diagonal elements are normal stresses and off diagonal elements are shear stresses. Okay, now this stress is equal to this one. Okay, that means it is analogous to this one. This is representing the first equation. You can see it. This is your first equation, this is your second equation, and this is your third equation. Same to your, you have stress in x direction, stress in y direction, and stress in z direction. Okay, now so this term is known as Reynolds stress term, because there is an analogy between the stress tensor and tensor obtained from this equation or this term. Okay, so it is known as Reynolds stress tensor or Reynolds stress. Okay, now again you can see here how this is coming. Now if we see the Rans equation, you have this term, you have this right hand term and left hand term. This equation I have written once again. Okay, now left hand side is a local derivative and convective derivative. You recall first unit, that is a substantial derivative or total derivative. Okay, this is your total derivative and it is a local plus convective, and so this is the time derivative, and this is the derivative with respect to space, okay, so and again it is a what we can say, this is your acceleration term, it is a total acceleration term. Okay, now if we go for the right hand side, first term is a pressure gradient term. Okay, and here two terms, one is laminar part and one is turbulent stress. Okay, means if we consider this term is laminar term and this term is turbulent term, this turbulent stress term. Okay, now what is the task of turbulence modeling? Turbulence modeling is to model the additional stress term. Why we need to model that an additional stress term, I will show you. Here if I write this Rans equation in this form, now again I will go to the next. Now you see here this equation I have written in this form, that is again I have written here that delta Ij, which we have taken as a Kronecker stress, Kronecker delta. Okay, now it is identity matrix. Okay, and that is your mean pressure stress. Now this is coming because of the viscous or viscosity. This stress is coming because of the viscosity, and this is your viscous stress, and this term is Reynolds stress. Now for fully developed turbulent flow, the Reynolds number here, Reynolds number, the role of viscous stress is negligible. That means if you have turbulent flow with high Reynolds number, the viscous stress is negligible as compared to the Reynolds stress. Here I have written that viscous stress, effect of viscous stress is less as compared to the Reynolds stress. Okay. Now, so I have written this rho u I dash u j dash is greater than mu dou u I dou xj dou uj dou xi. Okay. Now again you will get this thing. Why we need the turbulent modeling? Okay. Closure problem in the turbulent modeling or need of the turbulent modeling. Now this is your sorry. This is your momentum equation for turbulent flow in tensor notation. Okay, in tensor notation. Now you see here already I have explained these terms. Next one. Now here this term I have taken rho on this side and remaining terms I have written in this side. Now you see here in this equation, in this equation, if we write the three equations, that is derivative of u with respect to x, u with respect to y, and u with respect to z. Okay. Now, if we go for this equation, that is first equation, this one, this term you can write, that is du by dt, du by dv by dt, so on. That is for 3 dimensions. Now this term, it is, you see here, it is u du and it is I, okay, dx plus u dv dou y plus u dw dou z. Okay, this term you will get, and on right side again you will get same term. Okay, now you can write the momentum equation. Okay, now this represents the three equations, and we have one more equation, that is a continuity equation. Now when we apply all these equations, what we will get? See here in this equation there are we have four equations, three momentum equations and one continuity equations, and there are 9 unknown compounds. You can see here, these are the 9 unknown compounds. Okay, out of which 6 are independent compounds. 6 are independent compounds of this trace, because it is a symmetric. That means if you see this term, these are symmetric to these two. Okay, these two. Okay, so you have these three and these three. That means you have 6 compounds, 6 independent compounds of the stress. Okay, so in the Reynolds average Navier-Stokes equation, there are 6 additional unknowns are there. Okay, now this equation is derived on the basis of the mean flow. Okay, all quantities come in terms of the mean flow except last quantity, which is the Reynolds stress term. Okay, and which is not single term, it involves the 6 extra terms. That is one of the important challenge for simulating this type of problems. Okay, or for closing the problem on turbulence. Okay, now closure problem in the Reynolds average Navier-Stokes equation is Reynolds stress terms. Okay, which gives the additional unknowns, but there are no explicit governing equations for getting the solution to this additional unknowns. Okay, now what we have to do, let us make an accounting of this number of equations with number of unknowns. We have 3 velocity components, 1 pressure, and 6 Reynolds terms. Okay, So we have total 10 unknowns. Out of this system, after Reynolds averaging, we have 4 number of equations. Okay. Yes, and 3 component of momentum equations. Okay, as the number of unknowns are greater than the number of equations, the problem is in the form of indeterminate. Okay, so it needs to close this problem. Okay, and for obtaining the additional solution, we have to derive the additional equations or model the additional equations if necessary. Okay, so as to match the conditions in terms of the number of equations and number of unknowns, and for that purpose we need the turbulent models, and that turbulent models are what we can say are required for predicting the Reynolds stress. Have you got the need of turbulent models? Yes or no? Yes. The equations
Yes, sir.
which we are using, that is a k epsilon model, k omega model, then Spalt alarm model. All these equations are for handling this situation. Okay. Now, see here, these are the turbulent models. Already we have discussed here modeling. What is the role of this one? What to do with the turbulence? Okay. Now, for capturing the direct numerical simulation. Now, time averaging, here there are turbulence stress calculation approach, that is RSM, eddy viscosity calculation approach. These two approaches are based on the time averaging, and there are 5 or 7 equation models. Here this is a zero equation model, it is Prandtl's mixing length model. Then one equation model, it is a Spalart-Allmars model. Two equation models, these are the k epsilon, that is standard renormalization, that is renormalization group, that is RNG realizable, and this is a k omega model, that is a standard shear stress transport SST. Okay, and space averaging, that are the large ED simulation models. Okay, now here I will stop the theory part. I have not explained this when to use these models and how these models are useful. That I have not explained. Okay, that I will explain in the next theory part. And can we conduct one more session for laboratory? Yes or no? After taking the break of 10 to 10 minutes. Yes. Can we take one lab session?